Welcome to the OSBT Standard Operating Procedure 26 Fall Protection Safety Training. This presentation is designed to assist trainers conducting fall protection safety training for workers. Since workers are the target audience, this presentation emphasizes hazard identification, avoidance, and control, not standards. This presentation is not a substitute for any of the provisions of the Occupational Safety and Health Act of 1970 or for the standards issued by the U.S. Department of Labor. Fall protection. The purpose of Fall Protection Program is to establish guidelines to protect all employees engaged in indoor or outdoor work activities that expose them to potential falls for elevations. OSHA reference 29 CFR 1926.502 Fall Protection System. Learning objectives. Describe the economic magnitude of fall events. Describe the type of fall events and the common causes. Describe the human factors that increase the risk of falls. Describe the 8-step fall prevention program. List the OSHA requirements for preventing fall events. Describe the correct way to fall. Fall hazards are present in nearly every workplace and can happen in any part of the workplace, inside or outdoors. Falls result in 17% of all disabling work injuries, 15% of all accidental deaths, and over 30% among construction workers, more fatalities than all other causes except motor vehicles. Over 70,000 serious injuries a year. Injuries include sprains, strains, bruises, contusions, fractures, and lacerations. Fall hazards are present at almost every workplace, and workers are exposed to hazards daily. Any walking or working surface can be a potential fall hazard, whether a worker can fall from an elevation or simply fall from the same surface they are walking on. The importance of fall protection on the job cannot be stressed enough. Nationally, falls are the leading cause of work-related deaths among construction workers. 33.2% of construction fatalities in 2002 were due to falls, and approximately 70,000 serious injuries a year result from those falls. Furthermore, work-related fatalities from falls in all industries have increased from 600 in 1992 to 810 in 2001. Falls are costly. To the worker, pain, lost wages, temporary or permanent disability, and reduction of quality of life. To the business, loss in productivity and business, increased workers' compensation insurance premiums, costs associated with training replacement worker. Falls can initiate and cascade of events resulting in very serious injuries or death. Two types of falls. Falls at the same level. When you fall to the surface you are walking or standing on, or fall into or against objects at or above the surface. Fall to lower level. When you fall to a level below the one in which you are walking, working, or standing. Examples: steps or stairs, ladder, platform, loading dock, or equipment, etc. Fall protection. The issue of how to provide fall protection for employees in a commercial building and construction sites are difficult ones. There are so many different types of work and so many different kinds of fall hazards that it's not possible to organize fall protection in a neat set of rules to fit all situations. OSHA reflects this difficulty when it places its rules for fall protection in several different subparts in both general industry and construction standards, depending primarily on the nature of work being undertaken. In construction, all employees are to be protected from falls when at 6 feet above surface. Exception: if a worker is on a scaffold that is less than 10 feet or higher. If a roofer is on a high flat roof where the warning line and a safety monitor can be used. If a worker on a steel erection job where you do not need fall protection until 15 feet. Or if on the same steel erection job a worker is connector or who is allowed to work with protection up to 30 feet. This is a partial listing of the exceptions to the 6 feet rule in construction. On the slide listed below, these sections of OSHA 1910 all address fall protection. Each of these subparts address fall protection in different aspects of construction in OSHA 1926. OSHA requirements for stairways. Flights of stairs with 4 or more risers must have standard railings and handrails. Stairways having 4 or more risers and less than 44 inches wide must be equipped with standard railings and handrails as follows. Must have at least one handrail, preferably right-sided, descending if both sides enclosed. Must have at least one stair rail on the open side if one side is open. Must have one stair rail on each side if both sides are open. Stairways having 4 or more risers and more than 44 inches wide but less than 88 inches wide must have one handrail on each enclosed side and one stair railing on each open side. Stairways having 4 or more risers and more than 88 inches wide must have a handrail on each enclosed side, one stair railing on each open side, and one intermediate stair railing located approximately midway of the width. A stair railing is a vertical barrier erected along the exposed sides of the stairway with construction similar to the standard railing. A stair railing must have a vertical height no more than 34 inches nor less than 30 inches from the upper surface on the top of the rail to the surface of the tread. Open-sided floors, walkways, platforms, and runways. Regardless of height, a standard railing and toe board must be used to guard open-sided floors, walkways, platforms, or runways. Platform, a working space for persons elevated above surrounding floor or ground, such as balcony or platform for the operation of machinery and equipment. Runway, a passage for persons elevated above the surrounding floor or ground level, such as footwalk along shaving or walkway between buildings. Regardless of height, a standard railing or toe board must be used to guard open-sided floors, walkways, platforms, or runways. Wall opening, an opening at least 30 inches high and 18 inches wide in any wall or partition through which persons may fall, such as a yard arm doorway, a chute opening. Regardless of height, a standard railing or toe board must be used. OSHA requirements, walkways and ramps. Ramps, runways, and other walkways must be protected by guardrail systems when employees can fall 6 feet or more. The working surface must be strong enough to support employees' safety. If not, employees may not work on the surface. This knowledge will be gained during frequent and regular inspections made as required by competent persons designated by the employer. Wall openings. Opening at least 30 inches high and 18 inches wide in a wall or partition through which persons may fall. Wall openings from which there is a drop of more than 4 feet must be guarded. Fall protection in residential construction. In residential construction, you must be protected if you can fall more than 6 feet. This is a correction of activities not covered by SDT 3-0.1a. All other activities refer to SD 3-0.1a, Interim Fall Protection Guidelines for Residential Construction. Unprotected sides or edges. Unprotected sides or edges must have guardrails. Sides and edges. Improper guarding. This 1/4 nylon rope alone is not a proper way to guard this open floor. One-4 inch rope is allowed, but it must meet the criteria of 1926.502 B3, etc. No mid-rail, no toe boards, no sagging is allowed. Skylights and other openings. Holes more than 4 feet must be protected. This opening could be made safe by using a guardrail or a reinforcing cover. Covers must be able to support at least twice the weight of the employees, equipment, and materials that would be imposed on them at one time. Secure to prevent accidental displacement from wind, equipment, or other work activities. Color-coded or bare marking hole cover. Holes, personal fall arrest systems, covers, and guardrails shall be erected around holes, including skylights, that are more than 6 feet above lower levels. Note, all floor holes must be protected against slips, trips, even if less than 6 feet. OSHA requirements for roofs. If you work on roofs and can fall more than 6 feet, you must be protected. If workers are working on roofs with unprotected sides on edges 6 feet or more above lower levels, they shall be protected from falling by guardrails systems, safety net systems, personal fall arrest systems, or a combination of a warning line system and guardrail system. Warning line system and safety net systems, warning line system and personal fall arrest systems, or warning line system and safety monitoring system. Wall openings. If you work near wall openings 6 feet or more above lower levels, you must be protected from falling. Employees Wall openings. If you are working near a wall opening 6 feet or more above the lower levels, you must be protected from falling. Employees working on, at, above, or near wall openings, including those attached with chutes, where the outside bottom edge of the wall opening is 6 feet or more above the lower levels, and inside the bottom edge of the wall opening is less than 39 inches above the walking working surface, must be protected from falling by the use of either a guardrail, a safety net system, or a personal fall arrest system. Guarding floor openings. Open-sided floor runways or platforms 4 feet or more above adjacent floors or ground level must be guarded by standard railing on all open sides, except where the entrance to a ramp, stairway, or fixed ladder. A tow board is required beneath the opening sides. Persons can pass, there's a moving machinery, or there's equipment which falling materials could create a hazard. Floor hole definition. An opening measuring less than 12 inches but more than 1 inch in its least dimension in a floor, platform, pavement, or yard through which materials but not persons may fall. Every floor hole into which a person can accidentally walk must be guarded by either standard railing with tow board or cover. Each employee walking working surfaces must be protected from falling through the holes, including skylights, more than 6 feet above lower levels. Each employee must be protected from tripping or stepping into holes, including skylights, by covers. Each employee must be protected from objects falling through holes, including skylights, by covers. Smoke domes or skylight fixtures are not considered covers unless they are capable of supporting, without failure, at least twice the weight of employees, equipment, and materials that may be imposed on it at one time. Floor opening definition. An opening measuring 12 inches or more in its least dimension in a floor, platform, pavement, or yard through which a person may fall. All floor openings must be guarded or covered regardless of fall distance. Floor openings. An opening measuring 12 inches or more in any floor, platform, pavement, or yard through which persons may fall, such as hatchway, stair or ladder opening, pit, or large manhole. Floor openings occupied by elevators, dumbwaiters, conveyors, machinery, or containers are excluded from this subpart. Note, every skylight must be guarded by a standard skylight screen or fixed standard railing on all exposed sides. Ladder floor openings. Guard with standard railing with tow board on all exposed sides except entrance. Guard the passage through the railing with a swinging gate or offset it to prevent someone from walking into the opening.
OSHA Requirements, excavations. Provide covers and or guardrails to protect workers from hazards of open pits, tanks, vats, ditches, and the like. Each employee at the edge of a well, pit, shaft, or excavation not apparent due to plant growth or visual barrier 6 feet or more of depth must be protected from falling. OSHA requirements, fixed ladders, permanently attached to a structure, building, or equipment. Cages or wells required if longer than 20 feet to a maximum unbroken length of 30 feet. Ladder safety devices may be used on tower, water tank, and chimney ladders over 20 feet of unbroken length of cage protection. OSHA requirements, portable ladders. Ladders used to gain access to roof or other areas must extend at least 3 feet above the point of support. Withdraw defective ladders from service and tag mark dangerous or do not use. Never use ladders in a horizontal position as scaffolds or work platforms. Never use metal ladders near electrical equipment. OSHA requirements scaffolding. General requirements. Must be capable of supporting 4 times the maximum intended load. Do not alter or move while in use. Protect workers on scaffolds from overhead hazards. If higher than 10 feet, guardrails, midrails, and toe boards are required. Use mesh wire between the toe board and guardrail if people work or pass underneath. Must be equipped with access ladder or equivalent. OSHA requirements guardrails. Top rail must be between 39 and 45 inches tall. Toe boards must be at least 3.5 inches high. The top rail must be able to withstand at least a force of 200 lateral. OSHA requirements safety net systems. Place as close as possible but no more than 30 feet away from where employees work. How do safety nets protect me? Safety nets must catch the employee if he or her shall fall. The safety nets must be strong enough to support a falling employee, must have significantly small mesh so employees cannot fall through the net, must be close enough to the surface of the walking or working surface so the fall into the net will not injure the employee, never more than 30 feet, must be close enough to the edge of the work surface to stop the falling and the employee will not slide past the net. It must be placed below the working surface not to exceed 30 feet to catch the personnel or falling material. It must be placed as close to the hazard as possible. Equipment must be drop tested and certified. It must be inspected weekly after impact. Openings cannot exceed 6 inches. Defective equipment cannot be used. And safety nets must extend toward the outer projection of surfaces. Human factors increase the risk of falls. Physical condition: eyesight, visual perception, age, physical state and fatigue, stress or illness, or medications, alcohol, and drug effects.
Human factors increase the risk of falls. Distractions such as cell phone, talking and not watching where you're going, taking shortcuts, not using walkways as designated clear pathways, being in a hurry, rushing around. Human factors increase the risk of falls. Allowing clutter to accumulate, not maintaining clean, dry floors, using improper cleaning methods, not using signage when slip or trip hazards exist. In the picture shown, the water leakage was not cleaned up and there is no wet floor sign. Human factors increase the risk of falls. Wearing improper footwear, not suitable for the environment, taps on heels, smooth leather soles, or high heels. Falls are preventable if you have a plan. Planning process should include the following elements: evaluate the work site, identify fall hazards, identify who is exposed to fall hazards, evaluate the process to be done and the needs to complete the task. Identify what method of fall protection will be used for each hazard identified. Educate and train the workers. One of the most important aspects of fall hazard prevention is planning. An assessment of all fall hazards, even potential fall hazards, must be done before the appropriate corrective measures are considered. Furthermore, a fall hazard assessment can also determine training needs and fall rescue methods. If proper planning isn't done at the onset, time and materials will be wasted. Consequently, unexpected costs will rise. More importantly, Fatalities and severe injuries have resulted from simply not making the time or effort to effectively identify fall hazards. Falls are preventable. An 8-step approach to fall protection. Determine working surfaces and structures are safe. Conduct a fall hazard assessment. Eliminate the need for fall protection if possible. Select the appropriate type of fall protection system. Develop rescue retrieval procedures. Develop an equipment inspection, maintenance, and storage program. Provide fall protection training. Monitor the fall protection program. With the above planning elements in mind, the following 8-step approach not only focuses on actual or potential fall hazards we might anticipate, but also allows us to strive for a strategy of fall prevention rather than fall protection. Step 1. Structural safety and work surface. Does the walking and working surface have the strength and structural integrity to safely support all the employees and their equipment? Particularly important with older buildings, buildings with wooden roofs, and demolition activities. Employees must not enter the surface until the management determines the surface is structurally sound. Step 2. Conduct fall hazard analysis. Determine which specific jobs expose employees to fall hazards, type and frequency of work performed, if workers require horizontal or vertical movement, the type of working surface, the distance to lower levels, if the edge of the building or the working surface is protected by a guardrail system or parapet wall, is it adequate? If employees could be exposed to other types of health and or safety hazard, can it affect selection or use of fall protection systems? Determine if employees will be exposed to any of the following: unprotected side and edges, leading edges, floor holes, wall openings or hoisting areas, slippery surfaces, form work or reinforcing steel, ramps, runways or other walkways, portable ladders or stairways, excavations, working above dangerous equipment, obstructions, overhand bricklaying or related work surf, roof work, precast concrete erection, aerial lifts, or scaffolds. Please take a moment to review the fall hazard analysis sample form. Step 3. Eliminate need for fall protection. Redesign the process or job task. Work at lower heights. Use equipment that prevents fall hazard. Platforms that provide built-in fall protection. Use tool extensions and work from ground level. Lower equipment and tools to ground level. Use appropriate aerial lifts. Design buildings and other working surfaces to eliminate or reduce exposure. Eliminate. Work from ground, walls, enclosures, covers. Prevent. Railings, aerial lifts, fences, barricades, and parapets. Arrest. Personal fall arrest systems, personal fall restraint systems, nets, positioning devices, roof brackets, slide guards. Control. Safety monitors, warning lines, controlling decking zones. Step 4. Select appropriate prevention system. Two major categories of fall prevention systems. Passive systems are designed to provide protection without any action by the employee. Guardrails, nets, covers, aerial lifts. Active systems are those that are connected or otherwise activated by employees. Personal fall arrest systems, personal fall restraint systems, working positioning. Passive guardrail systems. Top rail at 42 inches from working surfaces, plus or minus 3 inches. Mid rail halfway between top rail and surface. Top rail must withstand 200 pounds and mid rail 150 pounds. Surface to prevent cuts and must not project over post. Chain, gate, or removable section across openings at hoisting areas, erected around all sides of a hole. Passive covers, capable of supporting at least 2 times the weight of employees, equipment, and materials that may be imposed on the cover at any one time. Don't forget skylights. Must be secured to prevent accidental displacement by wind, equipment, or employees. Must be color-coded and marked whole or cover, capable of supporting at least 2 times the maximum axle load of any largest vehicle to be expected to cross over. Active positioning device systems must prevent a free fall of no more than 2 feet, must be secured to an anchor capable of supporting at least twice the potential impact load of fall or 3,000 pounds. Snap hook, connectors, or connecting components must be in accordance to OSHA requirements. Active personal fall restraint system must be rigged to prevent the user from falling any distance, comprised of full body harness, anchorage, and connectors, i.e. lanyard, snap hooks, etc. Anchorages used for attachment must be capable of supporting 3,000 pounds per employee attached, or be designed, installed, or used as part of a complete personal fall restraint system. Active personal fall arrest system reduces injury sustained in fall by reducing the distance of fall and absorbing the arresting forces. Must limit the maximum arresting force on an employee to 1,800 pounds. Must be rigged such that the employee cannot free fall from more than 6 feet. Not contact a lower level. Limit deceleration distance to 3.5 feet. Anchorages used for attachment must be 5,000 pounds per employee attached. A rescue system must be in place to provide prompt rescue of employees in event of a fall. The ABCs and R of arrest systems. Anchorage Point is a secure point of attachment for lifelines, lanyards, deceleration devices, or self-retracting lanyards. Must be capable of supporting 5,000 pounds for each worker. Full body harness distributes the impact of a fall to a larger area, reducing the potential for damage to the body. Maximum of 1,800 pounds arresting force allowed. Connector means a device which is used to connect parts of the PFAS and positioning device together. Connectors include lanyards, snap hooks, carabiners, D-rings, lifelines, and deceleration devices. Personal Fall Arrest System, PFAS. You must be trained how to properly use PFAS. PFAS equal anchorage, lifeline, and body harness. A personal fall arrest system places the employee into a body harness that is fastened to a secure anchorage so that he or she cannot fall. Body belts are not acceptable as personal fall arrest systems. Here are a few key requirements. There should be no fall from more than 6 feet. There should be prompt rescue after a fall. PFASs must be inspected prior to each use. PFASs must not be used until they have been inspected by a competent person. PFAS harness. Harness systems consist of either nylon or polyester, and the best system will encompass the entire body, full body harness. A full body harness will eventually distribute weight across the waist, pelvis, and thighs. A full body harness must be properly sized for the employee assigned to wear it. One size does not fit all. Recreational climbing harnesses are not allowed. A full body harness is a set of straps securing the employee and distributing the impact of forces over the thighs, pelvis, waist, chest, and shoulders of the employee. Personal fall arrest systems. Safety belts are not allowed for fall protection. If you fall, a high force of the fall concentrated at your waist rather than 6 points of your body harness. A fall with a waist belt usually causes internal injuries. A heavy person will probably tip over and fall head first out of the waist belt into a fall. Deceleration devices. Any mechanism which dissipates the substantial amount of energy imposed on an employee during fall arrest. Deceleration devices include ropes, graps, rip stitch, tearing lanyards, and self-retractable lanyards. OSHA rules allow no more than a 6 feet free fall. Distance measured from the shoulders or D-ring. Forces imposed to fall greatly depend on the type of system you are using and the free fall distance. Other safety equipment factors: wearing proper shoes. Footwear should fit snugly and comfortable. Wear slip-resistant shoes, boots, or with good tread. Keep your footwear clean and good condition at all times. Inspect regularly for damage. Repair or replace worn or defective footwear. Replace shoes or soles before soles become worn smooth. Wearing proper shoes. The table below shows some of the type of soles with increased traction properties. Consult with a footwear manufacturer or your safety supplier for advice and assistance in selecting the appropriate type of footwear for your workplace. Wearing shoes with increased traction does not substitute safe walking practices. Step 5. Rescue Retrieval Plan. Rescue plan must provide prompt rescue in case of a fall. Plan to include: rescuers must be trained in rescue techniques and practice rescue attempts. Equipment is readily available. Communication plan with the contractors on site. Communication plan with outside services if available. Step 5. Rescue Retrieval Plan. Rescue plan components. Type of fall that may occur. Height of potential fall victim location. What work surface the victim may fall from. In-house rescue and training. Potential injury during fall and catch. Access to the fall victim. Estimated time to rescue response. Type of rescue access available. How equipment utilized will affect the catch. How far below the fall surface the victim may end up. Capability of local rescue services. If your company or project is not in a major metropolitan area or not serviced by a volunteer fire department with fall rescue training, you may have to provide means of self-rescue or work-assisted rescue. Do not assume the local emergency services will be available or capable of effecting a successful rescue of suspended fall victim. Step 5. Rescue Retrieval Plan. How long do you have? Uninjured volunteers felt dizzy in as little as 3 minutes, typically 5 to 20 minutes. Loss of consciousness in little as 5 minutes, typically 5 to 30 minutes. It is difficult to put a timeline on the process. However, from research it is clear that death is a potential and is more rapid with existing injuries, but can happen to anyone. Anyone immobilized in an upright position is in immediate danger. Step 6. Equipment inspection plan. A fall protection equipment, including harnesses, lanyards, and other connectors, must be visibly inspected before each use. Inspect for cuts, tears, rips, snags, punctures, abrasions, mold, or stretching, distorted hooks, or faulty hook springs, cracked, broken, deformed D-rings, carabiners, grommets, and snap hooks. Color fading, possibly indicating UV exposure. Defective equipment must be immediately taken out of service and tagged and marked unusable or destroyed. Clean the equipment of dirt, corrosion, or contaminants. Storage areas should be clean, dry, and free from exposure to fumes or corrosive elements. Step 7. Employee training. Training must be provided whenever. Employees are assigned to work where fall hazards exist, responsibilities change, or new methods are used. There's a new fall hazard. The fall protection program is inadequate. Additional training is necessary. Employees have not acquired or retained adequate understanding. Step 8. Monitor program effectiveness. Conduct periodic inspections to ensure that employees are properly using fall protection. Take immediate corrective action, including the use of disciplinary action if plans are not followed. Conduct a formal annual audit of the entire fall protection program. Document and communicate the results of the audit to everyone. Compare the results with previous audits. Conduct periodic inspections of equipment storage areas. Require employees to notify their supervisor if they are involved in any fall accident or incident. Promptly and thoroughly investigate and document. Hold managers and supervisors accountable for their crew. Step 8. Monitor program effectiveness. Two key persons. Competent person, one who is capable of identifying existing and predictable hazards in the surroundings, or working conditions that are unsanitary, hazardous, or dangerous to employees, and who has the authorization to take prompt corrective measures to eliminate them. Qualified person, one who, by possession of recognized degree, certified or professional standing, or who by extensive knowledge, training, experience has successfully demonstrated his or her ability to solve or resolve problems related to the subject matter. Falling properly. Roll with the fall. Don't reach out. Let your body crumble and roll. Bend your elbows and knees and use your legs and arms to absorb the fall. Get medical attention after a fall to treat any torn, sprained, or broken limbs. Summary. Falls constitute the majority of general industry accidents, accounting for 25% of reported claims each year and 17% of all deaths. Human factors contributing to the falls include fatigue and the effect of drugs and alcohol. An assessment of all fall hazards must be done before appropriate corrective measures are considered. Fall prevention systems include both active and passive systems. If you do fall, roll with the fall. Bend your elbows and knees. Use your legs and arms to absorb the fall. OSHA standards include requirements for guarding floor and wall openings, holes, industrial stairs, and ladders. This concludes fall protection training. Please copy and paste the test link into your browser and begin the quiz.